My name is Troy with Sasquatch Gun Oil, and today we will be talking about ammunition. We are going to go through a lot of different types of ammunition, some of the most popular ones that you will find at the stores, and talk about the differences and some of the confusion that people have regarding them, like why can you shoot a 38 special through a 357, but you can't shoot a 357 through a 38 special. One of the reasons is because they are two different sizes. The 357 is a longer round. The reason is the diameter of the bullet is the same. You can see both bullets are the same diameter, but the cartridges are different. So what we have here is the 38 special is actually shorter than the 357. These are rimmed cartridges. You can see that there is a rim on these cartridges where they extend out past the body or the case of the bullet. These are designed for revolvers. Revolvers have a cylinder in which you load the ammo, and that rim allows it to stay secure within the cylinder. So the cylinder revolves, hence the revolver. As you shoot, that rim allows it to stay secure in the revolver. If you are buying a revolver and you're looking at one and you see one that's chambered in 38 special, which is the short one, this one right here, you can shoot the 38 special through it all day. But the revolver itself, or the cylinder itself, is not big enough to hold the round of a 357 Magnum. 357 Magnum, it uses the same bullet as a 38 Special, only it's a much larger cartridge. You can see the difference in the length between the two. So the 357 will not fit into the cylinder of a 38 Special. However, if you're buying a revolver and you see one chambered in 357, this one, it will, because it's the same diameter of the bullet and the same cartridge diameter, except for the length of it, the 357 revolver will shoot a 38 special just fine. What's interesting is the 357 and the 38 special were both designed in the United States. They are measured in inches, hence the .357. If it was measured in millimeters, it would be the 38 special would be measured as a 9 by 29 millimeter rim, or R. And that's, you'll see that designation in a lot of European countries that use the metric system. For the 357, it is a 9 by 33 millimeter R, or rimmed, which means it's a longer bullet, longer cartridge compared to the 38 special. Both use the same bullet diameter of 357. That's where the 357 comes from, the diameter of the bullet. What's really interesting about that is that the 9 millimeter cartridge has a diameter of 355. So the 9 millimeter, the diameter of it is so close to being the same as a 357 and a 38 special. One of the major differences is the length and the fact that it's a rimless cartridge instead of a rimmed cartridge. This one has no rim. This one has a rim. They make what's called moon clips for revolvers that will allow you to use rimless cartridges, such as the 9 millimeter or the 380 or the 45 ACP in revolvers, but the revolvers were originally designed to shoot rimmed cartridges. The 9 millimeter is also known by the 9 by 19. 38 special is a 9 by 29. The 357 is a 9 by 33. And the 9 millimeter is a 9 by 19. It's also known as the 9 by 19 Parabellum, the 9 by 19 Luger, 9 millimeter NATO, standard 9 millimeter, and some people call it a 9. I'm going to go into the store to get some more 9. This is one of the most common rounds in use around the world. The 9 millimeter was designed in the German Empire by a guy named George Luger, hence the 9 millimeter Luger designation. The 9 by 19 NATO designation means that it is a NATO round, but their requirement says that they cannot use a frangible bullet or a hollow point bullet. So all 9 by 19 NATO ammo you will buy at the store will have a ball. They call it a ball ammo or a full metal jacket. It's not a hollow point. The 9mm NATO is an overpressure round. You can get some under pressure 9 rounds. That's not 9mm NATO standard designation. 38 special, 357, 9mm. The next one is the 380. Some people call this the 380 short because the diameter is 0.355 inches, the same diameter as the 9mm. In its metric designation, it is referred to as a 9x17 instead of a 9x19, which means the diameter of the 380 is the same as a 9mm, only it is a shorter cartridge compared to the 9. This one being the 380, this one right here being a 9mm. The 380 bullet tends to have a lesser grain weight in it. It tends to be a smaller bullet. A lot of people across the world call it the 9mm short. One interesting fact about the 380 was that it started World War I. When the Duke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, the guy that shot him used an FN pistol chambered in 380. 380 passes the FBI's ballistics testing. It is a good round for self-defense. It may not be as powerful, it may not go as far as a 9mm, but it'll get the job done, it'll defend you, and it'll start wars, clearly, World War I. The next round is the 45 ACP. The 45 is also a rimless cartridge, just like the 380 and the 9mm. This one was designed by John Moses Browning, just like the 380. So an American designed the bullet that started World War I in Europe. When the Americans entered World War I, they were using the 45 ACP, which was designed by John Moses Browning. Its metric sizing is 11.43 by 23 millimeters, so it is larger than the 9mm, the 380, the 38 Special, and the 357 Magnum. This one tends to be a lesser pressure compared to the 9mm, which means it doesn't ever really hit the speed of sound, which means there's no sonic boom associated with it when you shoot it, which makes it ideal for suppressed firearms. You have a suppressor with a 45 ACP, that's a good combination because it's not having to suppress a sonic boom. That's some of your most common pistol cartridges. You've got the 38 Special, the 357, the 9mm, and the 380, and the 45 ACP. The 380 is also an ACP, 380 ACP, 45 ACP. When you find ammo at the store and you see the .380 or the .45, that means it's measured in inches and it was designed in America. If you see the millimeter designation, it was designed in Europe. That gives you an idea of where each ammo comes from. For example, the 223 and the 556, they look identical, but the 556 is a NATO designation. And with that NATO designation, they have like 2 different bullets that they use based on the grain sizes, 62, 55 grain, whereas the 223 has so many different type of bullet options you can put in there. They range from 40 grains up to 70 grains. I've seen some 90 grains. There's more variety with the 223 bullet. These are, for the most part, identical, except the NATO designation has a higher pressure chamber, higher pressure in it when you shoot. That can lead to issues if you're buying a gun that's stamped 223 Remington. .223 Remington was designed in America, whereas the 556 NATO was designed in Belgium. The 556 NATO's metric measurements is 5.56 by 45 millimeters, whereas the 223 is measured .223 in inches. The 556 NATO came from the 223, so the 223 is the original round. It was designed first. It was designed for semi-auto rifles that could shoot a 22 caliber. The 223 is a 22 caliber, which has the same bullet diameter as the 22 long rifle. That being mentioned, if you're buying a firearm, a rifle, and you see that one is marked 223 Remington, it was designed for the 223 Remington and the powder charge and the load and the pressures of the 223 Remington. If you put the 556 in a gun chambered for 223 Remington, you're going to have excessive wear and tear on the firearm. It could potentially be dangerous once the firearm fails and explodes just because of the sheer extra pressure that the 5.56 NATO has over the 223 Remington. However, if you buy a rifle and it's marked and stamped 5.56 NATO, then it will shoot the 223 just fine because it was designed to withstand the extra pressures of a 5.56 NATO round. Right, so the 223 and the lower pressures that are in the 223 will fire just fine out of the 5.56. And then you have your 300 Blackout, which is another very common round. The 300 Blackout is becoming more popular. Its metric designation is 7.62 by 3.5. If that sounds familiar, the AK-47 round is 7.62 by 3.9. So this is just a hair shorter for the bullet length inside the cartridge than the 7.62 by 3.9 or the AK-47 round. They do make these in subsonic rounds, which is also a good ideal round for suppressed shooting. 300 Blackout was designed off of the same cartridge as the 223, so you can use the same magazines for the two. You can see the differences, but because the cartridge diameter, the cartridge dimensions are the same, besides the bullet being neck down and being opened up for a larger bullet, everything is the same except for the barrel. You don't want to put the 300 Blackout through a 5.56 barrel. You will blow it up. The 9mm cartridge is one of the most common rounds around the world and is used in most of your abundant handguns on the market, like this Beretta right here, or this Beretta Model 92. 380 is a much smaller round, which makes for a good round for a smaller handgun, like this Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. This gun has been very popular and has gotten a lot of accolades and high reviews since it was announced and released a couple years ago. This is a good pocket gun, a good conceal gun. It is small, as you can see. Whereas the Beretta is just so much larger. You can see the difference between those two. The 45 right here is a much bigger round compared to the 9. 45 was actually designed for the 1911. This being a Kimber. Your 223s and your 5.56 designed for your standard AR type of rifle, and your 300 Blackout designed for another AR style rifle, pistol. This one being a pistol, but it has a larger barrel diameter compared to. Then you have your 22 long rifle, which is a rimfire. See how there is no primer in it compared to this cartridge, which has a primer in it. Rimfires, the brass can only be used once. They can't be reloaded because the primer is in the base of the cartridge. Whereas your standard 9mm round or your 5.56, the primer is in the cartridge itself. These can be reloaded after they have been cleaned. You will replace the primer. You will replace, obviously, the powder and bullet. Well, that was Troy with Sasquatch Gun Oil. You guys have a great day shooting guns, and until next time, be safe out there, shoot your guns. Bye.